back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann, and it is the last day of Junk Journal July 2025, day 31, and our prompt for today is gold. So you notice I'm not starting today in my journal. I'm actually starting just on my work surface because I've decided to create a watercolor page, and I wanted to use actual watercolor paper for this. Now, disclaimer, I am not a watercolor artist. This is definitely not an instructional video, but I did think that you might be interested to see my process. So I first put some water down on the entire page and then added some water to the colors that I wanted to use in my box. That seems to make them work a little better if I sort of activate them in the paint tray beforehand. And I'm simply creating a rainbow here and making the arches similarly the same size and just trying to create a little bit of definition with the color, the shading inside, so that it's looks like watercolor. Are you as incredulous as I am that we are at the end of this challenge? I really can't believe it. And I'm feeling a little bit sad and out of sorts just thinking about what I will do tomorrow when I don't have a prompt to use to inspire me. So I definitely will be finding something else that I can use to get my creative juices flowing. I definitely feel as though I've gotten to a good flow with my art in terms of creating things, and I want to capitalize on that and see if I can continue to create every single day. Wasn't quite sure what to do with the top because I was satisfied with the rainbow, so I ended up choosing sort of a browny beige color just to round out the rest of the watercolor. I did leave it to dry for a good while, and then I came back and removed the tape. I think the outline of the tape edges looks really cool, although you can see the orange did bleed a little bit. And you know what, that's okay. So the prompt is gold, and so I decided to use this gold pigment pen. It's kind of like a gel pen to do some doodling. One, because I really like doing that and I'm trying to get back into using it more often in my journals, but also because it sort of gives that kind of boho vibe that I have been trying to include on each of the pages in this journal. So that was about the end of what I had in mind when I started the video, and so you're really pretty much going to see here just me doodling and putting down whatever pops into my head next. So I'm curious, now that we are at the end of the 31-day challenge, which day turned out to be your favorite day or your least favorite day? I'm really not certain of my answer to that. I had a lot of fun doing shimmer, and I also really enjoyed freedom, but there were so many others that I had such a great time with that I'm not sure I could pick an absolute favorite prompt. I definitely couldn't pick an absolute favorite page. I I wasn't sure how, I just purchased these pens because my old gold pen ran out and I couldn't find that style anymore. So I wasn't sure how this was going to show up on the watercolor. I was really pleased to see how well it popped. I used a bit of a quote here, "All that glitters is not gold," to edge the one rainbow. Then went back and continued doodling. Do you use marks on your pages? If you don't, I really would encourage you to find some marks that are your own and use them on your pages regularly. They can be something as simple as the little stars or asterisks that you see at the top of my page there, or you could do something more complex. But I do think adding your own marks to the page is a little bit like adding your own handwriting to the page. It's that super personal touch because no one else makes marks the same way that you do. I think this is a particularly great technique to use if you're a person who doesn't like your handwriting, because sometimes making your own marks on the page feels a little bit easier or a little bit safer, and it still gets a bit of that handwritten touch on your page. Of course, on the last page, I had to make sure that I included the dashed lines that I've been using throughout the journal, not only to connect this page to the others, but also to the original book that I started with and have been altering as part of this challenge. Then I decided to use some of this tarnished brass distress spray. And I know it's tarnished brass and not gold, but it's close enough. It reads kind of gold. I tested it out and I was not able to get a light spray, so I decided instead just to add some of the distress spray to my painting dish and then use a splatter brush to splatter the paint on. That worked so much better. I had a lot more control over it than I would have if I had sprayed it on directly. And I was pretty happy with how that looked. Then I decided to add a little bit of the white. I don't know why, it just came to my head and I thought I would try it. This probably would have been a little easier to get the white down had I added a bit of water. But I didn't think about that until after I was finished. And I'm okay with how that looked. I think that white with the gold gives it a little bit of extra pop. And with the background dry, I just needed to decide which of the two butterflies I wanted to use. My heart really wanted to use the gold because of the theme, but I really thought the black and gray butterfly popped more and fit more with my boho theme. So after kind of testing them both again, I decided that I was going to go with the black one. And then realized that I was covering over my quote completely. So I added it a second time to the bottom of the blue arch so that I could see at least most of the quote once I glued the butterfly down. And that worked out pretty well. I did only apply the glue to the center body of the butterfly because I wanted that little bit of dimension there. And that was pretty much it for the page. We are done. Prompt 31 finished. So one more time flipping through the completed pages that I've done on this challenge. I think I will do a flip through once I've finished up the other pages that weren't part of the challenge and have also added the journaling, just to create a video that sort of talks through the entire thing. I realized there was a piece of that corner popping up, so I went ahead and glued that down. And then finally came to the page that I had saved for this particular page. I had previously added the quote on the other side because I knew I was going to use this for gold, and it had a gold background, so it felt like it connected, and I really just liked the image on it and the quote. Sadly, that is the end of our last page for Junk Journal July 2025. All that remains is the label. And if you have enjoyed these videos and you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like this video in particular, please give it a like. And that is Day 31 Gold. I hope you make a great day.